Louise Regan in the NEU for the teachers. Louise is the National Officer of Membership and Equality. Are you there, Louise?
I'm here. Morning.
Good morning. So the NEU's, the Education Secretary is trying to fob off the NEU with a fairly minuscule pay rise. Can you tell us about that and what the plans are from the teachers?
Yeah, I mean, the offer is 3% at the moment, which is clearly not acceptable. I think figures show that since 2010, teachers' pay has fallen by 20%. So we're nowhere near to catching back up with what we've lost. We also, I mean, I think it's also important that people realise that lots of teachers are leaving the profession. So not only is our pay down, our workload is up exponentially. So in the first year of teaching, 12% of teachers leave, 25% within 3 years, and 33% within 5 years. And I think those figures are getting worse, actually. A lot of young, new teachers, new professionals are saying to me they're not going to stay because it's just the workload is too much. And they can also get better pay working in other areas. So it's a real problem for us. So we are balloting in October, our members. I think what we've seen with the RMT and the CWU, will embolden our members. I think pay has become a real big issue for them now. I know Niall's on, he's going to talk about supply teachers, I'm sure, but the issue, the pay of supply teachers, and I'm sure Niall will give you loads of details about it, is absolutely disgraceful, and people just are not aware of that. The attacks are, on supply teachers' pay and their conditions is disgraceful. And during the pandemic, virtually every supply teacher actually had no recourse to any money. Our union set up funds to try and support them, but it wasn't enough. And a lot of those people probably have got debt still from the pandemic, and yet were the people that were getting us through. So education workers got the country through, along with NHS workers, along with other public sector workers, because we were the ones going into school, looking after the children of those key workers, so that those key services could continue. Death rates among education workers are high compared to other services because we were putting ourselves in a situation where we were at the front of the pandemic early on, and lots of our members contracted COVID. So it's, I think the time has come to say enough is enough. And we have education workers using food banks who literally can't make ends meet from month to month, have to choose between whether they're going to put the heating on or feed their children, not feeding themselves at times because they haven't got enough money to buy food. So I think, everything that has been said prior to this is the situation we're in. I'm really hoping that we can build for this ballot, and that, we are going to have a summer and an autumn of discontent, and this government is going to have to do something to pay the workers that got us through. And just the final point I'd say is this on the money issue, because we're constantly told there isn't money. There is loads of money in this country. The rich have got much richer during this pandemic, and the people that got us through the pandemic are the ones who are now being expected to pay. So we know the money's there, and it's time the government paid the workers that are doing the work.
Well, I'm just going to bring Niall on, because I saw a story in the Morning Star this week about supply teachers, and Niall from the National Supply Teachers Network is the chairman. Niall, the Education Minister thinks that supply teachers will come in as agency workers and cover for a teacher strike. You don't seem to think that's going to happen.
Thank you for having me. No, it's not. It's not going to happen, just because of figures, really. So like this time last Sunday, I was reading all the comments from Nadine Zahawi saying that we were going to get an army of supply teachers to cover strike teachers, and I knew that wasn't likely to happen. But just to be on the safe side, I made a poll of our network members to find out, was my gut instinct correct? And they responded and said that 92% would not break a strike ballot. Actually, 11% of them made their own little thing where they said they would never break a strike. So on the back of that, I wrote a letter to Nadine Zahawi telling him that he did not have the backing of supply teachers, that they would not break a ballot. Now, the only thing is, even if they all wanted to go in, there are only, according to the REC, 90,000 supply staff. That's teachers, cover supervisors and TAs in the whole of the UK. So that's 90,000. There are, in England, 466,000 teachers. So there's 300,000 in the NASWT, there's 325,000 in the NEU. So if just one of those unions went on strike, there are not enough supply teachers, even if the fact that they're all not working. But the thing is, a lot of those supply teachers are already working. And also, we've always disputed that figure because, for example, I'm registered with 5 different supply agencies. So I think that 90,000 is made by a lot of double counting, or in the case of me, quadruple counting, you know, and more. So we knew that. And so, and I was talking to a journalist from the TES on Monday. He wanted to know about supply teachers not traveling to schools great distances because of the cost of fuel. And I mentioned the letter that I'd written to Nadine Zahawi. So he took that, made an article and put it in the TES, which was then taken up. It went into School Week. Then it went in the Morning Star, which is where you read it. And he invited me on here. So thank you.
Well, no, it's great that it's great to see that the education minister's not going to be able to get people to come in and break a strike up, and you've called that out, and it puts more pressure on them, doesn't it, when you did that? So it's fantastic to see. Thank you for coming on.
Welcome.